Speaking of Katie Porter, one of the highlights of Katie Porter's brief tenure in Congress at this point, was her questioning of Jamie Dimon, the CEO of J.P. Morgan, and Chase Bank. And let's check out what Chase is using its Twitter feed for these days. It is to admonish people for not saving in their bank.
It's to give them helpful advice.
Right. And here it is, the Chase tweet of the day. This is Monday's motivation coming to you on a Tuesday. Why is my balance so low? And the bank account speaks back to you. Make coffee at home. Eat the food that's already in the fridge. Bank account says, you don't need a cab. It's only 3 blocks. And then you say, I guess we'll never know. Bank account. Seriously? That's why there's no money in that bank, because you haven't cut back on things. You splurge on your $3 coffee. You let the food go to waste.
Do you know the concept of the panopticon in Foucault? Like of this sort of like internal gaze of surveillance?
You can easily see all the cells basically from one central point.
Right.
There's this way in which it's like, not only is that disgusting and inappropriate, and we'll, explain all the ways that Chase benefits from public largesse, but like the way it taps into like a certain kind of like relentless self-criticism that people already subject themselves to, which they shouldn't in a time of absolutely scarce, like the psychology of our time, that the response to record inequality and lack of opportunity and basic decency is like, well, you shouldn't splurge on a coffee.
We just didn't try hard enough. That's why people are poor.
And now your account has that same tone.
Did a couple of interviews in the past with ethnographers who have gone across the country looking at poverty and people who lost their homes in the financial crisis. And one of the things that was consistent was that they all thought it was because of personal choices that they made, and did not have the bird's eye view to see like there were major policies that left them in these type of situations. Now, Jamie Dimon, obviously doesn't work the Twitter feed for Chase Bank, but one way that Jamie Dimon, his bank could have responded would have been, why is my bank account so low? Chase, because you didn't get $3.7 billion in additional profit because of the tax cuts that Donald Trump, can you just imagine? Even if you were just you and you got just, let's say, a quarter of that, less than $1 billion worth of benefit from Donald Trump, boy, you could take that cab. If it was in fact, you could take that cab just across the street.
You could give me a $3 million bailout. I could make do with that.
Right.
And that's nothing.
Oh, yeah.
That's chump change. That's total bullshit.
1% of that, and you would be like, forget it. I'm going to buy a coffee every single day.
Boom.
Even if I don't drink coffee.
Just be pouring it out on the street.
But on top of that,
why are you pouring that coffee out? It's my bailout.
There's also other reasons, despite not getting a $3.7 billion windfall in the Trump tax cuts. And Katie Porter points those reasons out to Jamie Dimon just weeks ago, as the bank still sort of like contends that the reason why you don't have money is because you're not cutting back on things enough.
This woman had, and I apologize, you're going to need to follow orally. She had $2,425 a month. She rents a one-bedroom apartment. She and her daughter sleep together in the same room. In Irvine, California, that average one-bedroom apartment is going to be $1,600. She spends $100 on utilities. Take away the $1,700, and she has net $725. She's like me. She drives a 2008 minivan and has gas. $400 for car expenses and gas. Net $325. The Department of Agriculture says a low-cost food budget, that is ramen noodles, A low food budget is $400. That leaves her $77 in the red. She has a Cricket cell phone, the cheapest cell phone she can get for $40. She's in the red $117 a month. She has after-school childcare because the bank is open during normal business hours. That's $450 a month. That takes her down to negative $567 per month. My question for you, Mr. Diamond, is how should she manage this budget shortfall while she's working full-time at your bank?
I don't know that all your numbers are accurate. That number is generally a starter job.
She is a starting employee. She has a 6-year-old child.
Okay,
This is her first job.
And you can get those jobs out of high school, and she may have my job one day. So
She may, but Mr. Diamond, she doesn't have the ability right now to spend your $31 million.
I'm totally sympathetic.
She's short 567. What would you suggest she do?
I don't know. I'd have to think about that.
Would you recommend that she take out a JP Morgan Chase credit card and run a deficit?
I don't know. I'd have to think about it.
Would you recommend that she overdraft at your bank and be charged overdraft fees?
I don't know. I'd have to think about it.
So I know you have a lot
I'd love to call her up and have a conversation about her financial affairs and see if we can be helpful.
I think
There's
I
the
know what he's
genesis
gonna
of the
say.
idea
I
right
think
here.
You know what he's going to say. You know what you got to do? Stop taking so many cabs. Have your coffee at home.
Clearly, he
let
went
me-
home and he thought about it, and this is what he came up with.
Let me first ask you: you partial iced coffee? You drinking a lot of those? Does your kid need childcare?
And Chase then quickly apologizes. Our Monday motivation is to get better at Monday motivation tweets. Thanks for the feedback, Twitter world.
Wow. Have you tried being less poor?
Scene. Yes, there you go.
Can we get back to like every company has hired like a handful of agencies for the same like brand design and ad copy? So like, can't we at least get back to like the Dick Cheney era of like, I'm evil, fuck you. And we have to have like Chase being like, oh, sorry about that. We're just going to go back to totally pillaging the rest of the economy and destroying your life. Hashtag case of the Mondays.
Somebody may have reminded them that they got $25 billion worth of TARP bailout money, taxpayer money.
I would have liked to
Now-
have a phone conversation
and
with
for
Jamie
those
Dimon
of you
about
who
how we
wanna
could have
call
avoided
in,
that.
For those of you who want to call in and tell me that they paid that money back, I'll tell you what I'll do. You give me $25 billion. I'll put it in a CD. I will pay you the money back 12 months later. How's that? Give me the ability to loan it out. You give me that money at 0% interest. And I promise you, I will pay you back in a year and a half or 2 years. And then you will never hear from me again. I will be somewhere probably on the coast of Mexico in my own, bed and breakfast.
Bed and breakfast.
Well, I'm going to run a little bed and breakfast,
All
but
right.
I'm not going to charge anybody.
Be very, very chill. bed
I
and
will be in
breakfast.
it.
Yeah.
Depends. It's like you are like sneaking up to this, like you sneak up to the rooftop pool. Like, is he
No,
here?
that's the way.
I don't want to talk about Social Security today.
Well,
I just
that's
wanna take a swim.
That's it. It's going to be very, very inexpensive, the bed and breakfast with top quality stuff, but you get to listen to me.
Why
rant
isn't-
at you,
I
Elder.
just wanna
do a lap, hopefully.
Why isn't anyone joining me in the commissary?
Hi, I'm in the commissary. The commissary's open. They're lying about the numbers.
Breakfast this morning's going to be very exciting.
You would
Well,
still
let's go
do.
to the fun.
You would just do a once a week.
That's what I'm
show.
saying. I would.
You would
I
do a
would
once a week
No,
show.
I would have a bed and breakfast and have like captured audience.
Literally, they can't
Literally,
leave.
that's right.
You'll
6
find
p.m. tonight.
that
You'll
the
hear
door is locked from the outside.
Those 19th century stories of bed and breakfast murders.
It's like a bed. It's like a version. It's a Twilight Zone episode.
one way intercom in all the rooms.
Good morning.
Good morning.
You might want
Here's
to
what we
freshen
have
up
today.
because we're talking about the actuarial report.
It
for Medicare
is
in 30 minutes.
Tuesday, April 30th.
Broadcasting live from your what you thought was a dream vacation.